Good morning, guys. It's Tuesday, April 1st, 5:26 a.m. Central Time. Grain markets are mixed to begin a new month. May corn futures up 3.25 at 460 and a half. May soybeans up 2.25 at 1017. May Chicago wheat up 2.5 at 539 and a half. May Kansas City wheat down a half cent at 556 and a half. May spring wheat up 2.75 at 594 and 3/4. It appears as if there may be some more Trump bucks headed to farm country. Let's start there.
So, the Trump administration is considering a financial aid package for farmers in anticipation of an escalating trade war. Tomorrow, the administration plans to impose reciprocal tariffs on all U.S. trading partners. The move is likely to provoke retaliatory tariffs that could severely impact the agricultural sector. This situation mirrors the 2018 trade war with China, during which a government bailout for farmers cost roughly $23 billion. However, with tariffs now targeting multiple countries, the cost of a new aid package could be even higher. The previous trade war reportedly resulted in a $27 billion loss in U.S. agricultural exports.
This talk, of course, comes as the ECAP funds, the $10 billion in direct payments, are being distributed. And now we're talking about more money direct to farmers because of the trade war. The ECAP was just because prices suck, basically. And this would be more of a trade war related type deal. There's not a lot of details here, but it does appear to be real. While the president has not announced any details of an aid package, his advisors have signaled in recent days that he could follow a playbook similar to the one he used in his first term. Brooke Rollins said last week that the administration may look to offer emergency aid to farmers, telling reporters that Mr. Trump had asked her to have some programs in place that would potentially mitigate any economic catastrophes that could happen in the global trade standoff. Administration officials have discussed the early contours of a possible farmer bailout with industry lobbying groups and Republican congressional offices. I would imagine those lobbying groups are the same lobbying groups that pushed for ECAP, like your ag lenders, people along those lines, people who give money to farmers and now they want their money back. Of course, here is a chart of soybeans and what happened during the last trade war. So July of 2018, China tariffed U.S. soybeans. MFP was announced shortly thereafter in August of 2018. I believe the first round of MFP payments, which was in 2018, $12 billion, went out late in 2018, maybe early 2019. Then there was an additional $16 billion that went out in 2019. And there was finally a trade deal. And you can argue whether or not China met the terms of the trade deal. You got to remember, China was dealing with African swine fever during this time frame. It's very difficult to say what is the result of a tariff and what is not the result of a tariff. I know that these farm payments, the direct payments, are contentious. I know different people have different opinions. Some people think this is terrible. Even a lot of farmers think this is not really the way to roll. But at the same time, I mean, if these tariff policies hurt prices, it probably is the government's job to make it right. Mackenzie, I was telling you this story, what happened to us here before we started taping, and I'll tell the people here, and maybe this is off topic a little bit, but so our business is that we sell a premium subscription. We do a podcast that's free, and we do a YouTube video that's free every day, but we kind of use it to sell our premium subscription because we don't have sponsors or advertisers. We're kind of self-sponsored. We're sponsored by the farmer or the viewer, essentially. When the direct payments were announced, we had some videos with Paul Neefer that were absolutely fantastic. Paul was the first guy out there that had the estimates out for what the direct payments would be and how they would be distributed. He did an absolutely fantastic job. And when those videos were going out to our premium crowd, we had a lot of people sign up for the premium subscription. Tons of people signed up because they wanted to know about the direct payments. And then subsequently, a couple weeks later, a whole bunch of them canceled, and we let you cancel at any time. It doesn't bother me. But in this case, it bothered me a little bit because I got emails back from people and they said, Joe, I was only interested in the direct payments. I'm really not interested in marketing. And that was the gist of a whole bunch of emails and responses that I got from farmers, which is extremely disheartening to me personally. Now, my business is fine. I'm going to be fine. But the fact that I spend my life doing this and people are like, nah, I kind of want the government money. I'm not really interested in learning how to market better. I don't know. It didn't sit well with me. And if you guys love the direct payments, that's fine. I figured I'd just give you kind of an insight as to what's going on with some people. And that's not all farmers. That's not all farmers. Our premium subscribers are absolutely fantastic. The vast majority of them are very much interested in learning and educating and bettering themselves. but there's a big crowd out there who just wants the money, and it doesn't make me personally feel great. I know you guys don't care how I feel, and it doesn't matter, but there's just a story for you. Anyways, okay, let's go to the report.
U.S. farmers intend to plant the highest number of corn acres in 12 years. USDA released its annual prospective plantings report on Monday. Based on surveys completed in early March, U.S. farmers intend to plant 95.3 million acres, up 5% from last season and the highest since 2013. Soybean plantings are estimated at 83.5 million acres, down 4% from last season and the lowest since 2020. All wheat plantings are projected at 45.4 million acres, down nearly 2% compared to last season and the lowest since 1970. In its separate quarterly grain stocks report, the USDA reported U.S. corn stocks at 8.2 billion bushels on March 1st, down 2.4% versus last season. Soybean stocks rose to a 3-year high of 1.9 billion bushels, and wheat stocks rose to a 4-year high of 1.2 billion bushels.
This report, it's like when all 4 number 1 seeds make the final 4. It's very unexciting. There's just nothing really to get worked up about here. The group of analysts who put together these estimates absolutely nailed the corn stocks number. Can't get any better than that. 8.151, exactly what the trade had expected. Soybean stocks were slightly heavier than what the trade had expected, not of consequence though. Wheat stocks maybe a little bit heavier than what the trade had expected, not of huge consequence, however. The acreage numbers may be a little bit more interesting. Congrats to our friends at agmarket.net who absolutely nailed the corn acreage number. 95.3 was their guess, and that's exactly what they got. So congratulations to them. You know what you get when you nail the corn acreage number, Mackenzie?
No, I have no idea.
You get absolutely nothing. You get a shout out from us here on the podcast. You get to talk about it, but that's it. But congrats to them. Excellent work. Soybeans a little bit lower than expectations at 83.5. All wheat low at 45.35. We've got some graphics. These are from USDA's executive briefing. So corn acreage versus last year expected to expand just about everywhere as we expected, with the exception of Ohio, some places further to the east, but big corn acreage expansion. 95.3 would be the highest since 2013, I believe. Soybean acreage declining just about everywhere, with the exception of Ohio, Texas, North Carolina, but most places in the Corn Belt contracting with regard to soybean acres. 83.5 would be the lowest since 2020. Here's other spring wheat or spring wheat acres, very low. I think this print of just above 10 million is like what's either the lowest on record or one of the lowest on records. And we talked about these competing crops and why corn will pick up acres. It's because these competing crops don't make money, and spring wheat is one of those competing crops. Another one of those competing crops is cotton, which is losing acres all over the place. Cotton acres are going to be the lowest. I don't do cotton, but lowest since at least 2016. So you got a lot of acres coming out of soybeans, cotton, spring wheat, and into corn is what USDA told us yesterday. As I mentioned in yesterday's video, and I'll show you the slide again, the numbers are not reliable. Well, some years they are, but some years they miss by millions. Other years they miss the final number by tens of thousands. It just depends. So this is not gospel. This is just a place to start.
So if you guys have not checked out our premium content, you sure need to do so. Joe, can you tell our viewers about some of our recent premium videos?
Report day is a good day to be a premium subscriber. I had yesterday's USDA snapshot video out, I believe within 8 minutes of the report. So this is like a super quick 3-minute video, high level. This is what you need to know about the report right now. So you can watch it in 3 minutes and then go about your day. And that's kind of the whole purpose of the USDA snapshot video. The video that I did on Friday was our new segment called 5-Minute Friday. I talked about seasonal average contracts. Do they work? Yes, they work, but there's a couple things that you got to know about them that not everybody discusses, and that was kind of the point of the whole video. So if this is something you're considering, one of these contracts with your grain buyer where you sell X amount of bushels every day from mid-April through the end of June or mid-April through the end of July, whatever it is, you should watch this video because I think you'll learn a couple things and it'll help you to decide whether or not this is good for you. If you want to see the premium stuff, go to standardgrain.com. You can sign up this morning. It's a $50 per month subscription. You can cancel at any time. No other fee, no other obligation. Nobody will try to sell you anything else. It's super easy to sign up on your phone. I know you guys are busy. You can sign up on your phone with Apple Pay, Google Pay, Cash App, credit card. Takes about 30 seconds. Everything we send out is sent out via email. It's one click to play the videos in those emails. Absolute piece of cake if you are on the go. Give that deal a shot this morning, guys.
Heavy rains are slated to impact portions of the central U.S. this week. A wide band from eastern Texas through Ohio may see 5 to 6 inches of rain over the next week, and much larger amounts possible locally. This morning's GFS model indicates that portions of Arkansas, Missouri, southern Illinois, western Tennessee, and southern Indiana could see up to 15 inches of rain over the next 10 days. The excessive rainfall is likely to result in flooding and could delay the planting of this year's corn and soybean crops in some states.
Gosh, I hope this early GFS run this morning, but it's looked the same for a couple days now. I hope it's way too aggressive and the rain amounts are not this heavy, because this is bad news. Your early planting date for corn in, I believe, parts of southern Illinois and Missouri that are going to be really wet is today. I think it's April 1st. So this could absolutely result in some delays in some of these areas. Now, is that a giant pocket? No, but it's substantial-ish. And if you're in those areas, this is not what you want to see. So maybe some delays, maybe if there's spring wheat in those areas, maybe some problems, or I'm sorry, winter wheat in those areas, maybe there's some problems. If you guys have thoughts on this and you are located in one of those areas, drop us something in the YouTube comment section. Let us know what you think.
Russia's wheat crop forecast has been revised downward. According to consulting group Argus Media, the 25-26 crop has been reduced to 80.3 million metric tons, down from the November estimate of 81.5. The firm cited declining spring wheat prospects as a key contributor, outweighing recent improvements in winter wheat conditions. While dry conditions negatively impacted some wheat crops before winter, conditions have improved in recent weeks. Furthermore, rain is expected in the near term, which could provide additional relief.
It's a cut, but not a big cut. I believe Russian wheat export prices actually dropped just a little bit this week. The U.S. is competitive-ish, though, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a little bit more export business, but Russia should be, again, the world's top wheat exporter.
U.S. corn shipments were strong last week, surpassing pre-report expectations. USDA reported that 64 million bushels of corn were inspected for export during the week ending March 27th. The print was up 5% compared to the previous week and up 9.7% versus the same week last year. Soybean shipments were near the upper end of expectations at 29 million bushels. The print was down 4.1% from the prior week, but up 54% compared to the same week last year. Wheat shipments were also near the upper end of expectations at 16 million bushels. However, the print was down 10% from the previous week and down 23% versus the same week last year.
Very solid corn number, solid soybean number as well. And this is a time of year where soybean shipments should be declining. And we were actually up sharply versus the same week a year ago. Wheat shipments down a little bit from a year ago, but really not too bad. So overall, I mean, it's tough to say at this point that you've seen a tariff impact on exports. I think the tariff impact has been one of sentiment more than anything. Like maybe some of these large money managers just got out of some of their positions because of the tariffs, but I don't know that there's been a tangible tariff impact just yet. What did cattle do yesterday?
Cattle futures were lower. Live cattle were 60 cents to $1.20 lower. Feeders were unchanged to 67 cents lower. Box beef was higher yesterday. Choice was up 244 at 335.26, and select was up 133 at 320.01.
Outside markets this morning, the Dow's down 200, the S&P's down 22. Bonds are up a full handle. U.S. dollars about flat. Crude oil is up 36 cents, and the June WTI at 71.31. Have a great day, guys. We'll be back on Wednesday.